What's going on, guys? Tane with the digital realty team of eXp Realty here, and today we're going to be going over the differences between a mortgage pre-qualification letter and a mortgage pre-approval letter. And a lot of people think they're the same thing, but they are not. And unfortunately, in our industry, people will use them interchangeably, but it definitely shouldn't be because they're night and day difference, unfortunately. And you want to stay tuned for this one because this is going to prevent a lot of heartache, headache, pain for you as a buyer if you know the difference between a pre-qualification letter and a pre-approval letter, because I have seen too many buyers lose out on a ton of money from their earnest money deposit and as well their time, and as well losing the dream home because they didn't know the difference between a pre-qualification letter and a pre-approval letter. All right, so stay tuned. Real quick, before we start, if you could do me a favor and please hit the like button, the thumbs up, subscribe, and as well feel free to share it if you find this information valuable. And most importantly, comment down below on any questions that you may have that we could possibly help answer. All right, but it would be greatly appreciated if you can do me a solid and do that, because we do this for absolutely free, and this let YouTube know that we're providing value and people out there are liking the content that we provide, so we'll just keep providing more content. All right, and let's dive into it. What's a pre-qualification? All right, if you have ever received something in the mail along the lines of, hey, you've been pre-approved for whatever amount, $250,000, $300,000, $1 million, whatever it is, all right, but you didn't apply for anything whatsoever, you haven't submitted anything to prove your income, your credit score, your debt, anything like that, your assets, right, anything like that, that's a pre-qualification right there. And as I was saying earlier, sometimes in our industry, unfortunately, depending on who you're dealing with, they use that interchangeably. Realistically, it should say you're pre-qualified up to a certain amount. And like I said, sometimes it will say that. So just keep that in mind. That's an example of what a true pre-qualification is, because it's considered a pre-qualification because of the fact that you haven't supplied any of these documents to support that your income is good, your credit's good, your debt is accurate, your assets are accurate, right? All of that. That's a pre-qualification because of the fact that no one has actually verified it and you haven't been through underwriting to be considered what's called a pre-approval. The problems I've seen arise with pre-qualification letters specifically is that a lot of buyers go out there and start searching before they actually start submitting their documents. This could be happening for a couple of reasons. One, it could be happening because the buyer, sometimes buyers will think that, hey, let's find the house first and then we'll submit documents, even though submitting documents takes you no more than a couple of hours at most. Two, the agents and the lenders, they're too scared to request for these documents right away because they don't want to lose the business. But the reality is, when they start searching for properties with working with a pre-qualification versus a pre-approval, you don't know your true numbers and if you actually can qualify. So for example, if you're pre-qualified up to $300,000 and you're searching for properties up to $300,000, and let's just say you get your offer accepted because the listing side didn't do their due diligence trying to make sure this is a pre-approval, and you start submitting documents, and next thing you know, your income is not what it was supposed to be, your debt is not what it's supposed to be, and now you don't qualify up to that $300,000, but you only qualify up to $200,000. You just spent all your money. You just spent your money. By that time, you spent your money on your home inspection, sometimes the appraisal. So you're looking at over $1,000 right there. But on top of it, your time that you just lost, and as well whatever else you might have had going on, if it was a possible lease that you were about to terminate, right? Things that a lot of people don't think about. So that's like really the number one problem I've seen, and you'd be really surprised to see how many people out there are actually searching with pre-qualification letters. Me as an agent, I don't show properties without buyers that show commitment on their end, and they've actually started submitting documents, because like I said, it takes you no more than a couple of hours to actually submit documents. I'll do one freebie if anything, but after that, no more, because you're hurting yourself, the buyer, and as well you're hurting the other party, which legally, you're obligated to. So, you could possibly lose out your earnest money deposit. You already lost money out on the home inspection and the appraisal, which you're not going to get back, and as well the time. And let's just say, like, if you were crunched on time, right, and you need to find something right away, wouldn't you want to rather know, like, hey, purchasing is definitely out of the question, we got to find a rental, versus searching to purchase something, and the next thing you know, you got to find a rental, and now you're pretty much scoundering last minute trying to find something, right? I just helped out a family just recently where this is crazy, but a year and a half ago, they were searching with an agent, and unfortunately their deal fell through, and they reached out to me, and then I was able to get them in touch with my mortgage broker, and my mortgage broker pretty much told me, well, their credit scores were shot, and my mortgage broker pretty much told me, hey, these people shouldn't have been out home, searching for a house. They should have been working on their credit for the past year. And this is during the rates being really low, in 2021 timeframe, where we're in the 2 and 3s. So like that family, they finally got their credit up to par this year. And of course they qualify for less now because the rate's a little higher. But in general, like that family was searching for months and months and months, and then come that time, they actually went under contract, and then the deal fell through the week of closing. Think about how many plans that messed up, right? So like things like this will happen. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but pre-quals, Now that we've covered what a pre-qualification letter is, which is essentially, best way to put it is a fake ticket, I guess, to the Willy Wonka factory. But the pre-approval is a legitimate golden ticket, right? Which is where the buyers have submitted all of their documents, and they are actually legitimately pre-approved up to that amount to buy. And what does that mean, right? So if you're a W-2, you're full-time employee, you supply your W-2, your tax returns for the past 2-3 years, most cases, bank statements, right, have been supplied. They verified your debt and as well income and as well assets. And if you're 1099, it gets a little more complex, but there are options for that. But essentially, you've supplied everything required for the 1099, and you've been through underwriting in most cases. And the reality is, if you actually start searching with a pre-approval letter, your offers are stronger than somebody with a pre-qualification letter. And that's something that you have to, especially as an agent, if they're experienced, they'll bring it up to the listing side when they're submitting offers. At least I do, is I'll make them aware, hey, this is a pre-approval. They've submitted all documents and have been through underwriting, not a pre-qualification. Make sure the other people that submitted offers are actually pre-approval. And you'll start seeing people weed themselves out because they'll be scrambling last minute trying to supply documents, right? And the loan process typically takes 30 to 45 days because of the fact that buyers are submitting their documents and whatnot. But if you've submitted everything and been through underwriting, you can technically close your loan in under 15 days if there's a 7-day home inspection contingency. So like personally, when I purchase properties for myself and as well for majority of my buyers, I have my buyers submit all the documents so we know that we're not going to run into any surprises whatsoever, and I'm not wasting their time, they're not wasting my time, they're not wasting the lender's time, and they're not wasting the seller's time. And as well, most importantly, they're not losing any money, right? And opportunities that could happen from you searching for how long and not finding something and you don't even qualify. Right? And your offers will be much stronger, and you can technically close, like I said, in 15 days, 15, 20 days at most, if you've submitted everything. And it's a lot less stressful as well. That's the most important thing, but really being pre-approved and prepare will set you apart in a competitive market, in any sort of market, because you've done your due diligence in making sure that you're not going to run into any problems. So if you are thinking about buying and you want to chat with my mortgage broker to get you pre-approved, just comment down below. If you have any questions whatsoever as well, comment down below. All right, I know home buying is a huge commitment, and we want to make sure, after we chat, making sure it actually makes sense for us to work together, but most importantly, making sure that it actually makes sense for you to buy in this market. All right, so comment down below if you could, and like this video if you found this information valuable, and please feel free to share with any friends and family that might find this information valuable. I do this for completely free, and this helps YouTube let YouTube know that I am providing value for people and they'll find this information useful. All right, I appreciate you guys tuning in and hope you all have a good one.